We talked about a number of things, including the fact that you are talking to college students at some of the chapel services and other places, and you get a little bit of feedback from them, and you are interacting with them, and they're all struggling with something. And you said, they've got their character flaws, be it cheating, whatever. They've got their issues, and you're able to apply this particular ordeal to their lives. How do you do that?
There are consequences to our choices.
That's right, there are.
And Danielle's story vividly demonstrates this. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes when they are making decisions about anything from drugs to alcohol to cheating or whatever other issue they're struggling with, they do not think about the consequences. Mm-hmm. So I try to reinforce that. And I also encourage them to really find individuals in their life who can be accountability partners.
Okay.
Because oftentimes it's hard to go to deal with some of their issues alone.
Mm-hmm. They see you as someone with great credibility, I'm sure. You've gone through an ultimate loss. You've had a daughter wipe out on a freeway, and she made a bad choice. And I'm sure you communicate that, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you deal with anger?
It's interesting. I find in my own personal experience, as well as a grief counselor, that anger is a very common reaction during any type of grief or loss. And oftentimes they're angry at God, mm-hmm. angry at others, angry at themselves. And it's okay. I tell people, you can go ahead and have your spiritual fit, per se, but just continue to stay in the Word. It's okay to be angry as long as you don't stay there. I always encourage them to really hang on to the fact that God profoundly loves them and wants them to cry out to them with their anger, their doubts, their confusion. And what I find, if you hold on to anger, it will lead to depression. Mm-hmm. So I encourage them to find safe, healthy ways to express their anger. And if you do get stuck, oftentimes that leads to bitterness and revenge. And that's where I think it's important to really ask yourself the tough question, do I need to forgive myself? Mm. Do I need to forgive someone else?
How long were you angry at God?
Jan, I have to admit, I wasn't angry at God.
You weren't angry at God?
I was not angry at God. I did go through a time where I went through a period of blaming myself. What did I do wrong, Lord, that would result in a daughter making a choice like this? And I realized over time that the guilt and the self-blame was going to only lead me deeper into despair. And I had to really go to God and have Him help me move through this. But I'm probably one of the few, though, that did not go through that time of being angry at God.
Even when you look at that crumpled up car that mothers of drunk driving, dragging all over Minneapolis, St. Paul, you don't get angry.
I did not get angry at God, and I think part of that was the fact that from day one, God helped me to grasp the truth that she merely went from earth to her real home. Mm-hmm. She's happy. She's where we all want to be.
Yep, absolutely.
And clinging to that truth helped me to really move through this process without the anger.